Hey there, it's Logan Christopher from Legendary Strength, and today we're talking about becoming a strongman and several different facets of what you have to do to really become, basically a professional strongman or train the old-time strongman, actually get a name for yourself out there, that sort of thing. The first thing I want to talk about is building a basic foundational strength. So here's the main thing. I want to say that everyone watching this is going to definitely want to be a legit strongman. Don't be going out there and faking stuff. In fact, you won't learn how to fake stuff from me. You'll learn techniques and how to do things right and how to make things look good, but you're not going to learn how to fake stuff. So if you want to be a strongman, you have to get strong. You don't need to start out strong. And here's a very important point. Although you want to be strong all around and everything, you have to realize that everyone has their own individual things and goes after something. And although you can become known as a strongman, you don't need to be strong in everything. Here's the thing, with stuff like the bench press, you can become, moderately good, benching 315, pretty good for a single among average guys and everything. But that doesn't make you even close to the top guys in the world. There's a lot of competition for that sort of lift. But if you're able to do some things that are just outside of the bounds of the norm, doing stuff like phonebook tearing, nail bending, where there's not a whole lot of people involved in it, it's definitely growing at this point, but there's still not a whole lot, then something that is relatively easy as opposed to approaching that 400, 500 pound bench, which may take years and years, most people can, if they work at it, master these sort of feats of strength within a relatively short amount of time. That being said, you do want to build really a good foundation of strength, and this can come in many different routes. I really sort of specialize in kettlebells, body weight, that sort of thing, but I do have a fair amount of strength in sort of the classical, lifting barbells, that sort of thing. I think it's good to work on that foundational stuff. Now, if you're talking about sort of foundational strength for all the feats of strength, I'll give you a tip that I got from Dennis Rogers. This is actually not something that I really put into practice myself, though I understand why it's so good. I just didn't take the time to do it. But if you add one feat of strength that really is going to sort of build up your entire body and everything, that is scrolling. Because scrolling not only works the hands and wrists like many of the feats of strength where that's the primary thing, but your whole body is involved. It can be a mix between max effort just in a band, but also you're working endurance all at the same time. So if you want to get started with this, scrolling is a great place to start. I'll write that down for you. Just find a good place to get some steel for this that's relatively inexpensive. That may be the only thing that can hold you back on that. But besides that, scrolling is a great thing you want to do. Now, as far as making a name for yourself, what do you do in order to do this? You don't need to become the best in the world, although that's actually not too hard to do if you pick what you're going for right. You can easily become one of the best in the world. I've done just a few feats that are unique in and of themselves that helped me to get a name for myself. For instance, when I pulled a fire truck by my hair, there's probably like less than 10 people in the world that have pulled vehicles by their hair. So there's not a lot of competition for that thing. And I may not even be one of the strongest ones, but anytime I tell people that feat of strength, they're just completely blown away by that because it is unique, it's outside the box, it sounds ridiculously hard, and it certainly was. It was not an easy thing to do, nor was it free of pain. But it wasn't easy, but it wasn't getting to a 500-pound bench. Not a lot of competition for it, so you want to find something that is unique in what you can do. And I'm having trouble spelling right now. Unique. Some of the other stuff, kettlebell juggling. Great feat of strength in that it is so visual and people enjoy it. You get someone out of the crowd to come pick up a heavy kettlebell, just try to do anything with it. Then you take that and you're throwing it all around you. Something that not a lot of people do. So it was easy to become, in doing that, spend a couple years. Literally, I was doing that before I ever really showed people, besides a little bit here and there. But spent a couple years doing that, and now I'm one of the best kettlebell jugglers out there, especially in the U.S. Great great skill to have as far as becoming a strongman. Then I continually push the limits of what I can do like with that, such as setting the kettlebell on fire. Once again, something completely unique, had never been done before. Really isn't that much harder, some technical difficulty, but strength-wise, not any harder than doing it normally. Just something that looks visually amazing. That's a big part of becoming a strongman. If you want to pursue this as a career or just become known for it, you got to work on your showmanship. Very important thing as well. If you're the strongest person in the world, but you can't, communicate that strength to other people, you're really not going to become well known. Dennis Rogers, phenomenal guy at doing this, phenomenal at all this, and really I would encourage you to learn from him in whatever capacity you can, because of basically all the strongmen alive today. He's really what got all of us involved in doing it. Pretty much everyone out there owes a debt of gratitude to Dennis Rogers if they're calling themselves a strongman. So in showmanship, once again, it goes back to like doing these unique feats. It's something out of the ordinary. Lighting the kettlebell on fire just makes it look more dangerous. Danger is a big part of that. But learning how to talk to an audience, to communicate with them, huge. So you're going to want to spend some time doing this and spend some time practicing it. A lot of people have fear of getting up in front of public or even doing videos online, that sort of thing. You got to get over it, and there are multiple ways to do that. So showmanship is good. If you really want to get involved in, for instance, becoming a professional strongman where you're paid to perform, that's not really what I do. I've done a little bit of that stuff, but for the most part, I see myself more as a teacher in what I do and just, having fun doing what I do. But if you want to go with that route, I would highly encourage you to get a mentor. Someone that has done it themselves and really learn their system, learn everything that they did, then do it like they do it. For instance, Chris Sheck, if you haven't heard of him, phenomenal bender, great strongman. He really sort of got led into doing this by Chris Ryder. Once again, another phenomenal strongman who learned from Dennis Rogers, and everyone learns from Dennis Rogers, as I already mentioned. So try to find someone out there that will really help you get into it as far as really doing all this sort of stuff, building the strength, finding what is unique and how you can package yourself, getting the showmanship, and that will help you all along the lines. One other thing I would highly encourage you to use to get your name out there, there's a great free tool available out there. I don't see a whole lot of strongmen using it to the utmost of the capacity, but really learn how to use the internet, because this is a great tool for getting your name out there. Like this video is hosted on YouTube, talking about becoming a strongman. If you learn how to use the internet, you can become really well known. The best people in the world at anything usually aren't the most well known. Sometimes they are, but you have to learn how to market yourself. That is unfortunately more important than just being strong. It's the same thing in business or anything. You got to learn how to market yourself. Huge part. I mean, that's part of showmanship, is really marketing, but also how do you actually get your name out there? How do you get paid? So learn marketing, how to use the internet, that sort of thing. Brief overview of becoming a strongman. If you want a whole lot more as far as the techniques to do the various feats, a whole lot more on showmanship and coming up with unique feats, how to train for all this, be sure to check out Feats of Strength, How to Train and Perform Like the Old-Time Strongman, DVD set from Bud Jeffries and myself. 4 DVDs, covers all sorts of information. Really great foundation for anyone looking to get into doing this. Bud happens to be one of the leading performing strongmen out there, touring all around, doing tons and tons of school shows. So you definitely want to check that out. You'll find a link for that down below. If you have any more questions on becoming a strongman, anything related to this, be sure to let me know. Logan at legendarystrength.com. Other than that, a lot more information on this subject at legendarystrength.com. So I'll see you over there.